the whole transition seems to have happened even far more smoothly than pretty much anyone, including myself, expected. And just happy that that whole chapter and the chapter of all of the various trolls on the Twitter doubting whether or not proof of stake is even possible is over, in the Ethereum ecosystem now gets to move over and start focusing full speed ahead on the next thing.
Yeah, so what are the trolls going to focus on after the merge is done? Now that we have proof of stake, because they're not going to just wave the right flag, right? They're going to move on to the next thing.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was a troll, I would probably be waving one of two flags. So, like, one of the flags you can wave is obviously that proof of stake is actually bad, and the other flag you could wave is that sharding will never happen, right? And if you want to wave the flag of sharding never happening, then there are arguments that you could make about how, like, oh, the peer-to-peer networking of data availability sampling is actually complicated, and that stuff is not going to happen, and actually Ethereum's going to hit scalability bottlenecks soon, and blah 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 blah. But like, betting against the Ethereum ecosystem's ability to produce technology is something that clearly does not have a very good track record. So I think, yeah, no, if I was a troll, I would definitely kind of stick to the ideological side and just try to argue that proof of stake is bad somehow.
Vitalik, you said that the merge was even smoother than you expected. So I'm wondering if you could just like put us into the mind of Vitalik as we were going through the merge, because this has been, I mean, the Beacon chain launched, of course, in December of 2020, but proof of stake as an idea has been along even longer than that, and efforts on the Beacon chain has been, started before the Beacon chain launched, of course. So this has been a long time coming. So how does it feel to be in the post-merge world, and what was it like to be watching this thing go through? And also, what was it like to be watching the world watch Ethereum in this moment?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons why we're all surprised that the merge went really well is that none of the testnet merges really quite went that amazingly smoothly, right? Like, the most recent merge before the real one, I think it was think the Ropsten merge. It even did not finalize for about an hour because slightly more than a third of all of the nodes did not make it through the transition, and there was some code glitch and they had to update. One of the merges before, like, it only had something like 80% online. Like, there was always some client combination that just did not survive the transition. And there were various bugs. I think one of the reasons why that ended up not carrying over to the mainnet, and the mainnet ended up going great, actually, is that a lot of the bugs were not really bugs with the implementation, they were bugs with the settings, right? As the test nets, they all tend to have, various weird and like settings choices, and people are just less used to connecting into test nets and making sure they're connected in the right way than they are with the main network. And so we ended up having a lot of bugs on that side. But if you're just watching as a more naive observer from further away, you might think like, oh, every one of these testnet merges had at least a bit of an issue. And surely the main one is going to have even more problems just because it's a much bigger ecosystem, and it's all of these thousands of people, and we don't have as good an ability to immediately reach everyone. But no, and actually the mainnet merge just went incredibly smoothly. So I mean, the process of waiting for the merge to happen, it was in some ways surprisingly uneventful. Like, there was a call, there was a Zoom call, and everyone was, or at least lots of people were on that call, and I'm sure lots of people were on other calls as well. And we were just, talking about what the merge is, talking about what the merge means for the world, and then after we got through a few speeches, it's like, oh, wait, okay, now we're less than 5 minutes away. And then everyone just started waiting for the countdown. And eventually, the total terminal, the terminal block, which is the block that surpasses the total terminal difficulty, was hit. So